25 people. That was his entire world. Same faces every single day. Every choice in his life already decided for him except one. Because in a group this small, almost everyone he knew was already family. And marrying inside the family, generation after generation, was a quiet kind of death sentence. Weak bones, failed births, children who never made it through their first winter. They had no word for genetics, but somehow, tens of thousands of years ago, they had already found the rule. So they built something invisible, stretching for hundreds of miles, a network of bands, all connected by one single purpose. Finding a partner meant leaving, walking for days, sometimes weeks, toward people he had never met. This was not romance. This was survival, disguised as a long walk. Now travel back further still, 34,000 years, to a river valley in what is today Russia. Here, archaeologists later uncovered something extraordinary, a grave built for a young man and two teenagers. Over 13,000 ivory beads were sewn into their burial clothing. 10,000 hours of labor, months of a whole community's work. Two teenagers were laid head to head, an ochre-filled bone resting between them, dressed like royalty in a world that had no kings. Why give children this much? Scientists asked the same question for decades. Then, in 2017, they finally had an answer: DNA. The people in that grave were, at most, second cousins, not close family, not accidental. Which meant one thing. Even 34,000 years ago, people were choosing partners far outside their own small circle, on purpose. So how did it actually work, this ancient marriage market spread across hundreds of miles? A few times a year, separate bands met, not by accident, but by arrangement. Gifts were exchanged first. A carved tool, dried meat, proof of good faith before anything else. Then came the feast. Two bands sharing one fire for the first time in a year. And somewhere in that firelight, two strangers would look at each other for the very first time. But the choice was rarely only theirs. Elders negotiated. Furs, tools, sometimes future hunting rights exchanged like a quiet contract. Anthropologists call this bride price or bride service, payment in the language of survival. And more often than not, it was the woman who left, walking away from everything she had ever known. Scientists later confirmed this too. Ancient DNA, especially in mothers, showed far more genetic diversity than in fathers, meaning women, again and again, across thousands of years, were the ones who moved, carrying alliance in their footsteps. Every marriage was also a bridge, a pact between two groups who might otherwise have been strangers or rivals. Shared blood meant shared hunting grounds, shared danger warnings, shared survival when the winter turned cruel. Perhaps that is what those 13,000 beads truly meant, not just grief, but a message, sewn in ivory, sent to every band who would ever hear this story. Our people value the bonds we make beyond our own blood. Come and see what it costs us. Come and see what it's worth. Every wedding since has carried a piece of that same ancient logic, whether anyone dancing tonight realizes it or not. A ring exchanged, a dowry once demanded, two families quietly becoming one. Every one of it an echo of that same frozen river valley 34,000 years ago. He never returned to the only 25 people he had ever known. He built a new fire in a new camp and called it home. Marriage was never just about love. It was one of the oldest survival strategies our species ever built, and it worked.